Welcome to the Think Self-Publishing Podcast, where we talk all things self-publishing, making money online, and reaching your goals. If you enjoy the podcast, make sure you sign up for the free video seminar, Confessions of a Self-Publisher, and discover 7 powerful rules for publishing in today's competitive marketplace. Go to thinksp.net/confessions to join. Now here's your host, James, and let's get started with the show.
Welcome to the Think Self-Publishing Podcast, Episode 3. In this episode, we will have a discussion on email lists and how to use them properly when you're self-publishing. So this episode is focused more toward the people who have a few books available for sale. But if you haven't got started self-publishing, then you should definitely still listen to the episode and implement these ideas immediately when you take the jump into Kindle publishing. So first of all, if you're publishing ebooks, you should definitely be collecting email addresses from your readers and building an email list and using that email list to re-promote books and get more sales. If you're not doing this, right, and you're publishing and you're not collecting email addresses, then you should definitely pause the podcast, look in the description, look for the link to Get Response, click the link, sign up for Get Response. Okay, do that now, and you want to try to get the information I'm going to talk about in this podcast. You want to try to get this done within like the next few days or within the next week, because there's no reason to not collect email addresses, and it'll really it can really increase your income when implemented properly over time. Okay, and Get Response is the cheapest email solution, and it's really the first step to proper email marketing. So if you're not collecting email addresses and building an email list, then you should stop the podcast right now and get started on that. So sign up for Get Response and then come back and listen to my ideas on email marketing. So the way you're going to collect email addresses is to use what's called reader magnets. Okay, and a reader magnet is basically a freebie that you're going to link to in the beginning of your book and the back of your book. And that link is going to point your readers to a website that you create. And on the website, it's a simple one-page website where you would have a picture of the freebie book, and then under the picture will be a link for people to put their email address. And then once a person puts their email address, the software Get Response is going to send them an email with another link that you're going to put in the email. And then once the reader clicks that link, it'll either download a PDF version of the book, or it'll take them back to your website so they could view the content or the book that you're offering for free. Your freebie should always be related to the book that you link to it in. So if you're publishing a book on gardening, then your freebie should be another gardening book. Okay? Something that you shouldn't do, that some people will do, is they'll put a link in the front of the book and it'll say join the Readers Club and learn about the free books that we're giving away. I don't do that, and I'll talk more about that later. Try to give away one free book. I wouldn't recommend getting your list accustomed to just getting free stuff from you all the time, because the moment you try to sell them something, they're going to get angry. Okay, so definitely your reader magnet, the thing you link to in the beginning and the back of your book, it should be another free book that's related to the book that it's in. So again, any person who's listening and is self-publishing, definitely implement reader magnets immediately. And if you haven't started self-publishing, then you want to implement this stuff as soon as you get started, because that's going to be the easiest way to do it. So on the technical side of things, what you're basically going to need is a one-page WordPress website to collect email addresses. Okay, so in order to implement a one-page WordPress website, you obviously are going to need a domain, you're going to need hosting, and you're going to need WordPress, and you're going to need a theme called OptimizePress. Okay, because OptimizePress is going to make it very easy for you to make a one-page website to collect email addresses without you having to have any technical knowledge. Okay, so I recommend that you go to Namecheap to get your domain, go to DreamHost for your hosting, and then buy OptimizePress. Okay, and I'll have links for everything in the description. And this stuff is very simple, and maybe I'll make a video explaining how to set up how to set this up so that it works properly. But it's pretty straightforward. So let's just assume that you've implemented your reader magnet. So you have a link in the front of your book and in the back of your book that points to your website that allows people to put their email address. And then once they put their email address, you have your get response set up to automatically send them an email with a link to the book. Okay, so let's assume you've done all that. Okay, let's talk about and let's also assume that you've had this implemented for a couple weeks, maybe a month, and you have an email list of 100 people. Okay, so let's assume this is where you are. You have an email list of 100 people, right? So this is where the fun begins. This is the point. This is the reason I wanted to make this podcast, because I find that a lot of people will talk about, email marketing and self-publishing, but they never actually talk about exactly what you should be doing with that email address, with those email addresses, that email list that you've built. Okay, so what I find to work best for myself is I never give away anything free to the email list. Okay, the only thing they get free is the initial free book, but then after that, every email they get is promoting another book that's available for sale. Okay, so all my books are $2.99 for the digital and $9.99 for the print version. So every email they get promotes another book that's not free. I also email my email list every day, and I recommend that you do this as well. Now, there's a specific way to email every day so you don't come off as spammy, but when you do it the right way, you can email your list every day, and every day you can promote a product, right, which will be one of your books, right? And if you do it the right way, then people will actually look forward to those emails, and they're not going to complain that it's spammy, okay? Because in every email that you send to your email list, you should be providing value in that email. So if you implement this and you start emailing every day and you provide value in your emails and you do it the proper way, you'll easily start to see 1 to 5 to 10 sales. It all depends on the size of your list. But you'll start to see consistent sales from just sending one email, and it'll show you that you should be trying to build your email list. Okay, so what's the point? The point that I'm saying is you should be building an email list. You should not be giving them free stuff, and you should email them every day, but you should also provide value in your emails every day. So it might be weird for me to recommend emailing every day because some people might think that's spammy, but if you do it the right way, it's actually not spammy. And I recommend that you join my email list for Think Self-Publishing. So get the book, Confessions of a Self-Publisher, where I talk about 7 things that will help you get started in publishing. 7 things I've learned over the past 2 to 3 years of publishing. Join that list and watch the video seminar, obviously, because you're going to get a bunch of value from that. But you'll also see how I email every day and how it's not spammy and how I provide value in every email that I send. Okay, so I recommend that you implement this stuff. Definitely look for a video on, I'll show the technical side of setting up a website, so that way, you know how to do this. You don't have to pay someone to do it, and you don't have to waste time trying to figure out how to do it. You could just follow along and watch me do it. And then also I recommend join the email list, get Confessions of a Self-Publisher, and see how I'm emailing every day, right? Because if you implement this same type of system in your Kindle business, it's going to give you results. If you enjoyed the podcast and you found some value in it, then I recommend that you go to thinksp.net/confessions, okay? And you sign up to get the free video seminar, Confessions of a Self-Publisher, where I talk about 7 rules that I've learned over the last 2 to 3 years of publishing that I think will really improve your chances with self-publishing, especially if you haven't gotten started yet. So go to thinksp.net/confessions to get Confessions of a Self-Publisher, and stay tuned for more episodes.